days. Thank you very much, Dipankar, for joining in. Let's also talk about as far as the politics that seems to be playing out over the former US President Donald Trump, who has now made a loaded Diwali statement, a message that has now gone across, coming for the first time from a leader from the United States who has now openly condemned the atrocities faced by Hindus in Bangladesh, especially after the fall of the Sheikh Hasina government. In his most scathing remark on the issue yet, where Donald Trump took to social media platform X and vowed that he will protect Hindu Americans against what he says anti-religion agenda of the radical left. He also lashed out at his rivals Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and accused them of ignoring Hindus across the globe. Donald Trump also added that under his watch, under his administration, the great partnership with India and his good friend Narendra Modi will further strengthen. Let's take you through exactly what Donald Trump has been saying and, of course, what the intent has been, because it's just barely counting down to the days now when the presidential elections would be taking place in the United States. And also to remember when these crises that was unfolding in Bangladesh and how Hindus were at the receiving end. The persecution that had begun of the minorities, especially during the festive season, US back then had said that they were monitoring the situation. However, for the first time, we are looking at a former president and a leader from the United States of India empathizing as far as the cause of Hindus are concerned on what exactly is happening with them when the world was silent on the atrocities being meted out to the Hindus, especially when it comes to the neighboring countries where they have been reduced to a minority. Now, this is a development coming to light as far as also which showcases the good friendship with India is concerned, and of course with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This seems to be a big step, Rishabh, as we also play out and give out exactly what he has said in his statement. But first, let's get in a comment from Rishabh as well. Rishabh, Donald Trump empathizing what happened with Hindus, the atrocities in Bangladesh, calling them out and saying it was barbaric. However, saying under his watch, Hindus would be protected.
Well, there are two aspects to it. A, the Hindu vote bank, the Indian American vote bank, of which Hindus are main constituent of. Donald Trump do understand that in this neck-and-neck election where the swing states have started deciding which way they will be voting, and the non-decided votes margin are shrinking to a point where it looks like that this election is going to the T. Donald Trump do understand that the Indian American votes will definitely make a difference, and that is something that Donald Trump is eyeing to. B, what's happening in South Asia, and especially in Bangladesh for that matter, with the visit of Mohammed Yunus to United States and the way he met Joe Biden, the pictures that came out, it showcases that Mohammed Yunus is very close to the current ruling dispensation, which is the Biden administration. And Kamala Harris being part of the Biden administration as vice president, Donald Trump is in a way attacking the Biden administration, saying that under your watch, minorities in the world are not being safeguarded, especially in a country like Bangladesh, where now it looks like the United States have a huge stake in. Since 5th of August, we have seen continuous attacks on minorities, their place of worship and their belief and culture as well. And Donald Trump now capitalizing on that issue as well. So Donald Trump leaving no stone unturned ahead of the grand November 5 election to ensure that the swing votes come to him.
Let's get in a word from Sagrika as well, Rishabh, as he continues to be with us. But Shinjoy Chaudhary is also joining us right now. Let's get in a word from Shinjoy as well. Shinjoy, is this the Hindu vote card that Donald Trump seems to be using for his benefit in the upcoming presidential elections? Or does he actually empathize and he knows the importance of the American Hindu community in the US?
Well, whatever reason he is doing it, the fact that he is doing it may actually help about 8% of the population of Bangladesh that is Hindu. And that used to be a lot more. It has come down in recent years. Now, one reason for that is the fact that there has been trouble for the Hindus over the years. It has to be said that for many years, Sheikh Hasina used to quote her father, who always said that we are not Hindus, we are not Muslims, we are not Christians, we are Bengalis. Now, that problem has begun, this problem has begun after Sheikh Hasina left Bangladesh, and there have been attacks on Hindus, there have been attacks on temples. It's not that they weren't so before. There have been cases of that.
Srinjoy,
But
let me get in a word from Professor Nalapat, also joining us here on the broadcast. Good morning to you. What do you make of this statement coming in from Donald Trump, and also at the time and occasion of Diwali, where he says that Hindu rights under his watch would be protected?
Well, I'd like to say that I'm glad that at least Donald Trump is speaking out against what's happening in Bangladesh, because it's absolutely intolerable from a human rights standpoint that people are going to be targeted just because they're, Hindus or Christians. I think it's completely wrong. And I'm glad that Donald Trump is speaking out. I hope other political leaders also in the United States will speak out. But I would say that it's a very welcome statement, it's a very welcome acknowledgement of the horror that's taking place in Bangladesh. And I'm glad that...
Professor Nalapat, this Hindu vote card is something that we've often seen, when elections happen in India. Would Donald Trump would be needing the same to win the upcoming elections?
Well, he's talking about Bangladeshi Hindus. That's the first point. And the second point is very clear. He's talking about something that's a clear human rights issue. It's an issue which concerns all of humanity when this kind of an attack gets made. So look, the point is politicians make statements. You can go and investigate why they made it or whatever. But the fact is that this kind of a situation in Bangladesh, the world has hardly taken notice of it outside India. And I think that is wrong. And I'm glad that finally a presidential candidate who may become next president of the United States has taken it up.
Well, because he's also made a mention of his good friend, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in the same post. Thank you very much, Professor Nalapat, for joining in with your point of view. Let's also listen in how the BJP is now using it, as far as Donald Trump's statement is concerned on the attack and atrocities against Hindus, especially in Bangladesh, and to target those who downplayed and ignored the truth about persecution of Hindus in countries like Bangladesh. Let's listen in.
देखिए, आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी दुनिया के पहले ऐसे ग्लोबल लीडर थे जिन्होंने बांग्लादेशी हिंदुओं पर हो रही रिलीजियस एट्रोसिटीज के खिलाफ खुलकर बोला था, और उनके कॉल के बाद वर्ल्ड लीडर्स इस पर बोलना शुरू हो चुके हैं। डोनाल्ड ट्रंप जी भी वही वर्ल्ड लीडर्स की एक पूरी श्रेणी में एक और वर्ल्ड लीडर्स हैं। इससे ये साबित होता है कि दुनिया में हिंदुओं के खिलाफ हो रही बांग्लादेश में एट्रोसिटीज के खिलाफ एक यूनिटी हो रही है एक ग्लोबल लेवल पे। पर दुख की बात है, इट इज अनफॉर्चुनेट दैट द इंडिया अलायंस इज एक्सट्रीमली साइलेंट।
Well, will the